Well, we want to welcome everybody. This is a two-part event today. First of all, we're going to have a formal ceremony, a flag day, and at 8 o'clock we have the official lighting of this. It is taking a long time to get this done. And I will tell you, it's not easy, because the person that took the flags and said, you guys did this for 18 months, and you did this 5 to 6 years, and you like that. So we'd like to say today, we have a person of seeing the discussion of the meeting, and the Christine Ray. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. You've got a right, you've got another rehearsal. Busy ladies to play trumpet, comes out, and rehearsing, and if you missed the concert last night and have some fun, you didn't miss it, if I named that, and you'll be unique. Tuesday night, please come to Hopkins Park, and it's going to be a great concert. We're going to be after the Flag Day concert, along with Gavin Wilson's song and the 116. Great team. We're so blessed to have this day today to celebrate Memorial here, the Flag Day, but more importantly, we have any Army veterans in the group. An Army veteran over here. And today is the birthday of the United States Army. Just like a man, 248 years old, kind of exciting, the first enlisted back in the Revolutionary War started, the very first military unit, and for 2 centuries we've been continually having newspapers represent our country, fighting for our rights, and contributing to the our things for country. So for typical days of our past history and D-Day for the Army always led the way, so it's a compliment to them. The historic members have put everything on hold to serve our country. They have given their all to make sure that we have our freedom that we have today. So we want to thank the Army and all those that have acknowledged them for their birthday. At this point, we'd like to move on into our ceremony with our exalted ruler of the Elks. And even though this is a DeKalb Veterans Memorial, this is on our Elks property, and they are probably one of the most prolific organizations supporting veterans in the country. They're all over the country doing things for veterans every day, from homeless veterans to feeding veterans to donations. So please welcome Exalted Ruler Jerry Evans.
Thank you, Michael. Be easy on me tonight. It's a bad air day. But good evening and welcome to the DeKalb Benevolent Protective Order of Elks Flag Day ceremony. On June 14, 1777, our flag was officially adopted as a symbol of the United States by resolution of the Second Continental Congress. On June 14, 1885, the first formal observance of Flag Day occurred in Waupaca, Wisconsin. Bernard Sigran, working as a grade school teacher at Stony Hill School, planned the celebration for his students to help them understand the significance of our flag. Mr. Sigran made the celebration of the United States flag his life's work and became known as the father of Flag Day. 31 years later, 1916, President Woodrow Wilson issued a proclamation that officially established June 14th as Flag Day. The benevolent protective of Order of Elks have made our country's symbol an important part of our core beliefs, rituals. Patriotism means a great deal to each and every member. Although Flag Day is not an official federal holiday, with it paid off, it is an extremely important day to the Elks organization. So in 1907, before President Wilson established a National Flag Day, the Grand Lodge designated by resolution June 14th as Flag Day. In 1911, it was declared that all lodges of the order hold a mandatory Flag Day ceremony like we're doing now. On that June 14th of each year, the Elks organization began to petition Congress for an official resignation of Flag Day, and it was not until August 3rd, 1949, that President Harry Truman, an Elk member, signed an act of Congress establishing June 14th as Flag Day for the national observance. I believe all or most of you have received a small American flag tonight as a gift from the DeKalb Elks organization. At this time, I ask those who can to stand, remove your hats, hold the flag high in your left hand, and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would like to introduce our wonderful old mayor, Colin Barnes, would like to say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. So I just want to say thanks for coming out tonight. Memorials like this are incredibly important for a multitude of reasons. But when I think about this particular memorial, and I think about all our active duty soldiers that are currently serving on active duty or in the National Guard, that are from DeKalb, live in DeKalb, and come back and visit family in DeKalb. And they're going to come off 88, and they're going to drive in on Annie Glidden, and they're going to see this, right? They're going to know right then that, that this community understands the sacrifice that they've made and continue to make, and they're going to understand the impact that those soldiers are having on the freedom that we have right now today. Because like everyone here knows, the saying is, freedom is not free. And our active duty soldiers and National Guard are helping defend that. But also, coming home are going to be our veterans, the ones that had served. And they're going to come down Annie Glidden, and they're going to see this memorial day and now night, and that's going to be another recognition to the sacrifices that they made with their time to their family. And it's another hat nod to remember that sacrifice is important to all of us in the United States, but especially here in the city of DeKalb. But this memorial also is for those that are no longer with us. When I think about my grandfathers, when I drive down Annie Glidden coming home and I look at this memorial, that's who I'm going to remember. Both my grandfathers, my great-grandfather, and the service that they had. But one thing I adore about this is all the graduations that happen at the Convocation Center, all the football games, all those move-in days, right? All those youth, they're going to come in off the interstate on 88, and they're going to drive by, and they're going to see this. Not just an American flag, but an incredible memorial to all the branches of service that we have. A lot of us know there's things in our life, especially when we're young, that are a trigger. This could be one of those small things that gets the next generation of citizen soldier to raise their white hand and swear to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So not only is this a memorial, but to me, it's inspirational. It's the thing that is going to help create the whole next generation of soldiers that are going to defend our country. I would definitely want to take a moment and thank Michael Embrey. As most of us know, talk about a man who is dedicated to making sure our veterans are remembered. I appreciate that as a veteran immensely, Michael, and I'll never forget that. I want to thank the Elks Club for doing this, dedicating this chunk of property at one of the entryways to our community to have such a beautiful memorial is phenomenal. And I would encourage everyone to come by, read the names that are up here of the people that contributed to make this happen. Because these don't, as Michael said, happen overnight. It's a significant amount of dollars, time, and energy that goes into it. But it's incredibly important, lest we forget. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Glenn, for those inspirational words. It's very important. Also, I'd like to take a couple seconds to acknowledge we have Mike Thomas from the fire department here. He comes to almost everything. I must owe him $5 because he keeps coming to all these events. Mike, thank you for coming out. And also, our community wouldn't be what it is without our city manager and Mr. Bill Nicholas, who has been extremely supportive of all the projects we have produced for the veterans. He's been right on board from the very first day to coming out, looking at this concept to recently he got the street department. If you come off of Peace Road, off of 88, you'll see the Welcome to DeKalb sign, and underneath it says, a veteran-friendly city. Well, that's pretty cool for anybody that comes out here. And for those of you that are here and my friends and you're all my family, is I will tell you that we have been nominated for Veteran City of the Year. And we're really excited about it. We hope to know soon the results of that, but it's going to be a wonderful thing for us. Flag Day, you know, Betsy Ross has always been contributed as the one who made the flag, and people are not for sure if she really did, but she was friends with George Washington, so assuming she did make flags for the Navy. So she was sewing all the time, and you know, even her husband John Ross said, you know, honey, you need to start cooking dinner. He says, don't needle me, I've got to finish these flags. So it's become a symbol of our freedom, leading the troops to battle and welcoming them home. It's kind of important when we think about this memorial and these bricks, these 100 names on these bricks, and eventually we have benches that we're working with Lynn on benches. And by the way, Lynn, we just sold the Army bench, so we have one more bench sold. We're still going to be selling more bricks. We still have some spots to sell flags. This is a perpetual memorial that we continue to have to fund, to fix and update, so we could really use that. But I don't know, if any of you have ever been to Washington, D.C.? You been to Washington, D.C.? If you want to talk about memorials and you want to talk about understanding our country, you go to Washington, D.C. Because first thing you do, you go to Arlington National Cemetery where there's 400,000 graves. It makes you think about all those young men and women who gave their life. Go to that Vietnam Memorial where there's 58,000 names. Go to the World War II Memorial, over 400,000. Go to some of the other memorials that contribute. The one that I'm always amazed at, and people don't understand or think about it, is the Marine Memorial in Washington, D.C. That bronze statue of Iwo Jima and that flag coming up, and people don't realize in 3 days, 7,000 United States Marines lost their lives taking that island. It's just amazing to me, and we don't think about that. We really need to do that. A short story to tell you is, you know, some of you know I've been to the American Cemetery in Normandy, France, and have played taps there. And that was extremely humbling for me as an adult to do that. But recently, I produced a show, and I had a band out of Netherlands, which was Holland at the time. And they said, Mr. Embrey, can I get a couple of tickets for the show tonight? And I said, well, you got family here? He says, no. He said, back in our little town in Holland, We have 5,000 U.S. servicemen graves, and we've adopted different families, and we take care of their grave, and every year they send them a picture, and every year they take care of that grave. And I looked it up, and it's true. 5,200 military lost their lives giving Holland their freedom back from the Nazis. So it's kind of interesting. But if you think about the whole grand scheme of things, I just gave you a million reasons why we have to stand for the flag, and we salute the flag. A million people gave their lives so we have that right to be here. I want to close with one thing. We often ask, why is it stars and stripes? Well, it's pretty simple. The very first flag was 13 stars and 13 stripes. And as they started adding more states, they started adding more stars. But the one thing they wanted to do is make sure we keep those 13 colonies there. We understand where we came from and why we came from that. People say, why is it red, white, and blue? Well, it's really simple. There's really no defined reason, but the Continental Congress and the Federation will say we will design and we will have our own flag, and it will be based on red, white, and blue. The white will stand for purity and innocence. The red will stand for valor and hardness, and the blue will stand for vigilance, perseverance, and justice. And these colors will never run. The only thing that will be the blood of those soldiers that defended that flag. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank the Elks organization, all the officers here today for making this happen. And at 8 o'clock, I want you to come back out after you have an adult beverage and see the lights. And if it isn't spectacular, something's wrong, because this is really a cool memorial. Thank you very, very much.
For coming out to enjoy the lighting part of our ceremony. Earlier we had a little formal part of our ceremony. I want to thank Dave Finney Electric for putting in this, Dan Halverson for putting the lines into the building. This is all electrical. It's on timers. These lights come on every night now till fall at 8 o'clock. They come off at midnight. The light for the American flag stays on till 4 a.m. So we do want to honor a country with this. We do want to thank you for coming out. We are still taking applications for bricks. We are also taking applications for our benches. We will have 6 benches representing each branch of the military as well as the Vietnam era veterans. We'll later have a bench over here honoring women veterans. In addition to that, we have one of our scout people here, and the fire pit you have here is an Eagle Scout project, and they came out and donated that to our memorial. So we hope to have s'mores out here someday when it gets fall. So bring your marshmallows and chocolate and come out and have s'mores with us. At this time, a brief ceremony. We want to thank, a lot of you are already here, but I'd like to have our mayor, Mayor Colin Barnes, come out and say just a couple of things about our memorial and our goal, what we're doing. I shared with Mayor Barnes here that we are on the cusp of being nominated for Veteran City of the Year in the state of Illinois, which is pretty exciting for us. So it's just getting started. So, Mayor Barnes.
Well, thanks for everyone coming out tonight. I said some words earlier and I was told to keep it really brief because we want to see the lights that come up. But I just want to say thanks for coming out. I want to say thanks to the Elks, to Michael Embrey, everyone, and you can see these bricks. I encourage everyone to check it out. Everyone that contributed to making something like this happen. My remarks earlier, to be really brief, when veterans come through, when family members of service members come through off 88, coming back home, right? When active duty National Guardsmen come home and they see this, there's no matter what, it's going to warm their heart, because it warms my heart when I see it. And then also more importantly, or not maybe more importantly, but just as important, all those youth that come to go to Northern Illinois University, to the graduations at the Combo Center and all those things, they see this, and we all know when you're younger, you're impressionable. This could be that trigger, this could be that moment that gets them to raise their right hand to serve our country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So this is a significant thing for our veterans and those active duty members, but it's also the trigger that could create that next generation of youth that are going to serve our great country. So again, thanks for coming out. Thanks to the Elks. I'm really looking forward to seeing us throw the switch and seeing what this memorial looks like at night. So thank you, Michael.
Mayor Barnes made it pretty obvious that this is an Elks project. The Elks organization is very supportive of veteran programs around the country. They've donated money locally to our local American Legion for their honor guard, for uniforms. So we are very proud to be able to give back to our community. This is a community memorial. This is not the Elks Memorial. This is our community memorial, and suddenly located on the Elks property. Please do look at the bricks. We're going to have a lot more. We do have people from Korea. We have people from World War II, from Vietnam, from Afghanistan, variety of bricks, and through that, eventually over here, you'll see the start of our World War I memorial. And for all those men from DeKalb County, 2,000 DeKalb County veterans served during World War I. And you can imagine, 220 lost their lives. 1914, that was a lot. You can imagine that. So this is just a concept. We're going to continue to grow. The benches here were donated by a local elk, so people come out here, and it's touching. I have talked to a lot of people who have said, I'd go over to Starbucks and grab a cup of coffee, sit on the bench, and look at my dad's or my uncle's brick, and thank God we have our veterans. So it is really touching. It is a very good memorial. I want to thank DeKalb County CVB for being here. All three of you, I'm sorry. And they've done a lot to help promote this program. And around the country in the state of Illinois, we are known for what we do for our veterans. So I want to thank everybody. Jerry, would you like to say something real quick?
No, I'm
Jerry,
good, thanks.
Jerry's our...
Come on, Jerry.
I want to thank all of you guys for coming out, really. I mean, we the Elks and everybody, we really appreciate it. I know Colin Barnes does, I know Mike does. We really appreciate all your support you've been giving us. And just keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Greg, you want to come up here, please?
No, I'm just right here, Michael. I want to thank you for, I'm the leading knight here at the Elks Lodge. I want to thank you for taking the lead on pulling a lot of this together. I know it took a lot of work to do, and you were instrumental in making it happen. Thank you.
Those that don't know, I'm an Air Force veteran, except when you talk to John Countryman, he says, you aren't a veteran, you played a horn. That doesn't make you a real soldier. So you see John Countryman, let him know that I am a real soldier. Thank you very much for coming out. Please say hello to the Elk members. If you're not an Elk member, it's a great organization. They give back to the community. I've often asked people around, I said, do you know what the Elks do? And they know. They just go to the bar and drink. I said, no. They do a lot. They do for senior citizens. They do for veterans. They do for Boy Scouts. They do for a variety of programs. I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars they give back to our community every year in supporting veterans projects.
Had a food pantry here on Saturday. On Saturday, we had a food pantry right here in the parking lot.
You had what? Sorry?
Food pantry.
Food pantry.
We have another one on the 29th of July.
Yeah, 29th of July. So it shows you this is one of those organizations that is giving back. It is viable. And for those of us a little bit older, and for the younger ones who are out here, thank you. But we don't get this participation anymore from the younger people, so we rely on the more, I don't call you old, I call you mature people, that we are giving back to our community, and it's so important. Without us, we wouldn't have a community. So thank you very much for coming out. Thank all the officers, Joe and Pam, and all the ones in uniform. Thank you guys for making this one. Please stop in, have a beverage in our lodge, meet some of our officers and learn about our program. We applications for bricks, please take one. If not, you can get a hold of any elk member, you can get a hold of Jerry or myself, and we'll make sure that you want to buy a brick. We still have flags for sale, because it costs us money to keep these flags every year. So if you'd like to buy a flag in the pole with your name, you can look at that and sponsor this. We have a lot of patriotic people. We have 4 people sponsor the American flag, and only one lonely person sponsored Space Force. So we need a lot of support out here. Thank you very much for coming out, giving us part of your evening. Please enjoy our Elks organization. Thank you.
Members, we give you an application.